And it's so, you've got no idea how I feel. Man, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Those were among the last words Ozzy Osbourne would ever speak to his fans. What nobody knew was that the Prince of Darkness had already made peace with his fate.
I'm dying. It's a fact. There's no need for a doctor to tell me. That farewell performance was something I insisted on doing. I don't want to disappear silently. I have to say goodbye in person.
Just hours before his death on July 22, 2025, Ozzy posted a backstage photo from his farewell concert with two haunting words, "Back to the beginning." But this wasn't just nostalgia. This was a man who knew exactly what was coming.
Unfortunately, we've come to our final song for ever.
The timing was too perfect. The farewell show titled Back to the Beginning, the cryptic final post, the way he conducted his final weeks like a man settling his affairs. Something about Ozzy's death feels orchestrated, not by outside forces, but by the man himself. On July 5th, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne did something doctors said was impossible. Despite being unable to walk, despite Parkinson's disease ravaging his body for over 2 decades, he took the stage at Villa Park in Birmingham for what he called his final bow.
I've been laid up for like fucking 6 years. And it's so, you've got no idea how I feel. Man, thank you from the bottom of my...
6 years. He'd been essentially bedridden for 6 years, fighting a disease that was slowly stealing everything from him. But he found the strength for one last performance. The question isn't how he managed it. The question is why he felt so compelled to do it. Sharon had worked for an entire year to make this happen. But here's what's haunting. Ozzy didn't just perform because the show was organized. He insisted on it. He demanded it. Even when his body was failing, even when standing was agony, he refused to let his career end silently. The concert was billed as Back to the Beginning, the original Black Sabbath lineup reuniting for what everyone knew would be the last time. Over 40,000 fans packed Villa Park, with 5.8 million more watching the live stream worldwide. Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains, and Metal Royalty performed as opening acts. But everyone was there for one reason: to witness history. Ozzy performed from a black leather throne because his legs could no longer support him. His voice, though, that unmistakable wail that defined heavy metal, remained powerful. He belted out War Pigs, NIB, Iron Man, and Paranoid, each song feeling like a final prayer. The charity aspect adds another layer. All proceeds, reportedly $190 million, went to Birmingham Children's Hospital, Acorns Children's Hospice, and Cure Parkinson's. A man settling his earthly accounts, making sure his final act served others who were suffering.
I just want to say to you on behalf of the guys in Black Sabbath and myself, that your support over the years has made it all possible for us to live a lifestyle we live. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. I love you, we love you.
That wasn't just gratitude. That was closure. A man saying goodbye not just to his fans, but to the life that had given him everything and taken everything away. The concert ended with him blessing the crowd. "Thank you, God bless you all, that's good night." 17 days later, he was gone. In the hours before his death, Ozzy Osbourne made one final post on Instagram. It wasn't a goodbye message. It wasn't a health update. It was a single backstage photo from his farewell concert showing the sign above his dressing room door. The image showed his name at the top, with photos of the original Black Sabbath lineup below. But it was the text that sent shivers through everyone who saw it. Back to the beginning, the final show. This wasn't nostalgia. This was a man who understood exactly what was happening to him.
You feel immortal?
No. I feel lucky to be alive, and I'm immortal, because I've done some pretty damn crazy stuff in my life.
He said, "I felt lucky to be alive," past tense, not "I feel lucky to be living" or grateful for each day. Lucky to be alive, as if that luck was running out and he knew it. The timing of that Instagram post is what makes it so haunting. Posted just hours before his death, it reads like a man who had already made his peace with fate. Not someone surprised by mortality, but someone who had been preparing for it. Throughout his final weeks, Ozzy's behavior suggested a man conducting a careful farewell tour of his own life. He spent time with each of his 6 children, creating final memories with his grandchildren and reconnecting with longtime friends and bandmates. Every moment felt deliberately constructed. Every conversation carried the weight of finality. Kelly's engagement to Sid Wilson happened backstage immediately after the farewell concert.
Kelly, you know I love you more than anything in the world.
Marry my daughter.
That would make me happier to spend the rest.
The timing wasn't coincidental. Ozzy had orchestrated this moment, ensuring he could witness his daughter's happiness before his time ended. He knew he wouldn't be around for the wedding, but he made sure he was there for the proposal. The photographs from that night show a man glowing with satisfaction, not just from the performance, but from seeing his family's joy. But this careful orchestration of family moments hadn't happened overnight. Months earlier, when the weight of his declining health was crushing his spirit, Sharon had recognized the danger signs. Her husband was drowning in what he would later describe as Doomtown, a place where each morning brought new physical failures and the crushing realization that his body was betraying him daily. His final act followed the same template. While the world saw a sick old man struggling with Parkinson's, Ozzy was actually executing the most complex performance of his career, his own death. The evidence is in the details. The farewell concert wasn't booked because he was dying. It was booked because he wanted to control how his story ended. The charity donations weren't afterthoughts. They were strategic decisions to ensure his final act served a greater purpose. The family moments weren't spontaneous. They were carefully crafted opportunities to create lasting memories. The psychiatric evaluations throughout his life had revealed someone who couldn't be categorized or controlled by conventional medical understanding. That same complexity allowed him to approach his own mortality with a clarity that surprised everyone around him. Incredibly lucky to have the farewell concert in Birmingham, or incredibly strategic. The farewell concert wasn't luck, it was the culmination of months of planning. The title, Back to the Beginning, wasn't coincidental. It was deliberately chosen to frame his death as a completion rather than an ending. His final interviews reveal someone who had moved beyond fighting his condition to accepting and working with it. The depression he described wasn't despair. It was the natural response of someone processing their own mortality and finding peace with it. People saw illness and weakness. What they missed was the strength required to orchestrate such a comprehensive farewell. The physical deterioration was real, but it masked an emotional and spiritual preparation that few people achieve. The genius of Ozzy's final act wasn't in the spectacle, it was in the subtlety. No dramatic pronouncements, no public countdown to death, just a man quietly arranging his affairs, saying his goodbyes, and exiting on his own terms. His entire career had been about pulling off impossible dreams through sheer force of will. His death was no different. The final impossible dream executed with the same precision that had defined his life. The man who had once promised to be the star at the Doomsday concert had kept his word. He didn't just die, he performed his death, turning his final exit into one last unforgettable show. Ozzy Osbourne's death wasn't the end of a story, it was the completion of a masterpiece that had been decades in the making. The Prince of Darkness had orchestrated his final act with the same attention to detail that had made him a legend.
Unfortunately, we've come to our final song for ever.
Those final words from the stage carried weight far beyond a typical concert farewell. That's good night, not see you next time or until we meet again. Good night, final, complete, the end of the show. In the days following his death, tributes poured in from across the music world. Metallica, Elton John, members of Guns N' Roses, and countless others shared memories and condolences. But what struck everyone was how prepared his family seemed, how organized the response was, how complete his final arrangements appeared to be. Even the family statement reflected his careful planning. No shock, no confusion, no scrambling for words. A prepared statement from a family that had been given time to process what was coming and say their goodbyes properly. The timing of everything, Kelly's engagement immediately after the concert, the charity donations already arranged, the final Instagram post perfectly timed, suggests a man who had spent months choreographing his departure.
People take me or leave me. I mean, I'm just Ozzy Osbourne, and I always will be Ozzy Osbourne. I'm not going to be like Frank Sinatra. I mean, you couldn't imagine me like this going, I'll do it my way and all that, you know.
And that's exactly what he did. He did it his way, not through defiance or rebellion, but through acceptance and preparation. The madman had revealed himself to be a master of control, right up until the final moment. But here's what makes his final act so remarkable. He managed to die exactly as he had lived, on his own terms, in control of the narrative, giving the people what they needed while protecting what mattered most to him. The man who had spent decades shocking the world with unpredictable behavior had saved his most shocking act for last, a death that was completely predictable, thoroughly planned, and executed with perfect timing. His legacy isn't just in the music. Though songs like Crazy Train and Iron Man will echo forever, his legacy isn't just in the cultural impact. Though he helped create reality television and redefined what it meant to be a rock star, his legacy is in showing that even death can be an act of creativity when approached with enough intelligence and preparation. The voice that held through his entire career, that's what people will remember. But those who paid attention to his final months will remember something else. The mind that held through everything, the intelligence that guided every decision, and the heart that made sure his last act served others rather than just himself. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.